it doesn't actually matter how much fear that people have in South Korea, because we have a conscription.
Okay.
So no matter people want to go or not want to go, they have to go. The military of Korea, they don't have a problem with the number of soldiers. In general, they have to serve for 2 years. We have like 50 million-ish people in Korea, living in South Korea, and every man who's over 19 is obligated to go to join the army. Some women in the army, but they don't get drafted. They can choose to go if they want to, so they can apply for that. But the thing is, they cannot apply for a normal soldier, at least for some kind of officer job. Actually, the group that I'm from is working on the conscious objection. I'm from a group called World Without War, and we are like the only group who's dealing with that problem in Korea. Korea is the country with the biggest number of the conscious objectors in the world, because we have so many Jehovah's Witnesses who has been doing that for the last 50 years. So ever since like 1950s, the Jehovah's Witnesses started to, refuse to join the army, and till now, the accumulated number of them is about like 10,000-ish. Like 10-ish years ago, we started to have different types of conscious objectors, so-called like political objectors. That means, they refuse to go to the army not because they're Jehovah's Witnesses, but because they're in different religion, or because they're the pacifists, because they have some political reasons, because they're like LGBTQs. Like there are so many different reasons. So we call them either conscious objectors or sometimes like political objectors, just to distinguish them from Jehovah's Witnesses. So about 10 years ago, we started to have them, and now we have a little bit less than 50 of them. So my group usually works with them. So if anybody wants to do the conscious objection, they find us, then they call us, and they ask us for help, because they don't know nothing about the objecting to the military. So they don't know what to do. So they always ask us for like counseling, and that's why I provide them. And after they get into prison, we keep supporting them. And whenever somebody calls us, the first thing that we always do is persuade them not to, if possible. I mean, not strongly, but we always say like, you're gonna go through these hardships, so you might wanna think about it again, And if they would still not do it, we help them out. The thing is, if they refuse to like hold a gun, or if they refuse any kind of training after they are in the army, they go to the military prison. But these conscious objectors, they do it in advance. They do it before they get in. So yeah, they go to just normal prison. And at the moment, we have about 10-ish activists, like core activists. But we have a lot of network. We have a wide network, so we have a lot of supporters and people who help us out all the time. So when it comes to like the issue about the military or national security, it's almost forbidden issue that you're not supposed to talk about it. And we didn't even know we didn't even know the term conscious objection in Korea. We didn't even know they existed. So all the Jehovah's Witnesses, they were considered as the dodgers. They were like illegal. So, it's still illegal, but people didn't have a concept. But now they do, and it got a lot better. But 10 years ago, it was even worse, and you're not allowed to talk anything about it. They do advertise, of course, because they have to persuade people, like, army's there to protect you guys, army's there to build the peace, But they don't come to school like they do in Germany, because it's a conscription. They have to join the army anyway. People have to join it. They don't have to do that. But the thing is, last year it is very interesting. the department, the Ministry of Education had an MOU, the Memorandum of Understanding, with the Ministry of Defense. Yeah, weird combination. But they had this MOU and agreed on having, build some kind of curriculum to encourage students, to join the army more happily. It's like to raise like morality, so-called morality to join the army. Even though they have to, it seems like the government doesn't want them to do it just because they're being drafted, but they're more like volunteer thing, And they also plan to encourage students to join the army, to choose the military as a professional, as a professional job. The advertisement in daily lives, like you will see the advertisement of the military school, schools that you go if you want to be an officer. Like you'll see the poster everywhere with nice-looking people, like in a neat suit, smiling, and it says like you can do it as well. Protect your country. It's everywhere, and it's really interesting that celebrities like TV stars, like drama, soap opera stars, movie stars, if they're male and if they are up to the age that they have to join the army, they are going to be really praised, praised if they choose to go to the army, and they're going to be praised even more if they choose a harder army, if they join the harder, military. Like if they choose to go to the Navy instead of Army, or if they choose to go to Air Force instead of just Army, they're going to get praised so much. And if any celebrity who has reasons not to join the army, or who just dodge it, they're going to be damned, like their career's over. So I think that influences young generation a lot, because they're like the heroes to them, right? So yeah, that's one of the biggest advertisement that they do. So for the last 10 years, our action has been focused on introducing the alternative service. And to do that, we had to develop our arguments to persuade people. And our arguments were, all right, these people are nice people, they're not trying to dodge their obligation. They're more than willing to do it if they have a choice to do it, which does not violate their own consciences, if you know what I mean. So what we even used to say, these people are more than willing to go to those war regions, to build peace there, not through the violence, but through peace itself. They're more than willing to take this risk, even more dangerous risks. That's how firm they are. That's how strong they are. Strong their consciences are. So what we're saying is just give them a chance to, carry on their obligation through the way that they can do it, without violating their own consciences. And it kind of worked. And it was not all about persuading people, and because on this side you have to persuade people, and on the other side you have to have a connection with the Congress. Because it's all about the politics, You have to make the bill, make it passed, so that you can have it in a system, So we did both, and it kind of worked. So we were this close to have it, 4 years ago. But at the last minute, the government has changed from progressive to conservative now, and everything's back to zero level.